Yeah. Now I'm recording the lecture, girls. Good afternoon, girls. Good afternoon. There are altogether 4 participants now. I welcome you for the class. So now, please switch off your microphone and your camera so that it will run smoothly. Once the class gets over, you can enable them and speak to me and raise your doubts. Okay. So I'm now presenting the document, girls. Can you see the document?
Yes, ma'am. Mama.
Yes. I told you please mute your microphones. You remember yesterday I did a class, girls, on solution of simultaneous linear equations. I request you all to kindly mute your microphone. Yesterday I already took a class, very first class. This is unit 4, girls. It is solutions of simultaneous linear system of equations. So we discussed yesterday the various methods of solving the system of linear equations. Now they are all direct methods. Like you will get exact solutions for these equations when you employ direct methods. What did we do? Yesterday we took equations, for example, 4 equations in 4 unknowns. Then what we did is we discussed the methods of solving those equations, simultaneous equations. The direct methods means exact methods because we get exact solutions. One of them is matrix inversion method. Second one is Gauss elimination method. Third one is Gauss-Jordan method. Fourth one is triangularization method. We can also call it as factorization method or LU decomposition method. And I asked you to submit actually problems, one problem for each model yesterday. Very few students submitted. Okay, please see that you submit every day the assignment without fail. Today we are going to discuss about the solutions, methods of solving these equations using indirect methods, or we can call them as iterative methods. Yesterday I explained to you, know, actually direct methods, no, what we do is we eliminate the unknowns and variables, then to get the solutions which are the exact solutions. Whereas in iterative methods, what we do is we always start with an approximate initial solution and we'll just find out the best approximate solution using the same technique repeatedly. That's why we call them as iterative methods, and we don't get the exact solution, girls, at the end. So an approximate solution, of course, the best approximate solution to the desired accuracy. Okay, let us now see the iterative methods, and these iterative methods can be given either for short answers or for essays. The very first one is Jacobi's iterative method. We can also call it as the simultaneous displacement method, girls. Okay, method of simultaneous displacement. I told you already in this unit you will be having the number of equations is equal to number of unknowns. Only such a system of equations you will be given to solve. Okay, so here as an example, I took 4 equations here and there are 4 unknowns x, y, z, w. So you will now learn how to solve this system of 4 equations in 4 unknowns by the method, iterative method, which is Jacobi's method. Okay, so here before going directly to the Jacobi's method, you must be thorough with 2 different definitions. First of all, when do you say that a system is diagonally dominant? See, you have a system, as I explained to you, system of 4 equations, say in 4 unknowns. See, equation 1, equation 2, equation 3, equation 4. Here the 4 unknowns are x, y, z, w. So your aim is to solve the values, means all to solve the system means to find out the values of x, y, z, w, which satisfy all these 4 equations simultaneously. That is why we call it as solution of simultaneous linear. system of equations. Okay, so you are going to find out the values of x, y, z, w satisfying all these four equations. Okay, and now this system is called as diagonally dominant when, if you write this in the coefficient matrix, the coefficient of x, y, z, w in first row, coefficients of x, y, z, w in second row, coefficient of x, y, z, w in third row, and from fourth equation, coefficients of x, y, z, w in fourth row, you will get a matrix. Okay, and that matrix is called diagonally dominant matrix if the elements on the principal diagonal, elements on the principal diagonal means, as I explained to you, like this, if you are having a system of equations, when you write this in the matrix form, you will have here this is the principal diagonal, and on this principal diagonal, the elements, if you say, they are called as pivotal elements, a11, a22, a33, a44. Okay, and this system is called as diagonally dominant system if the absolute value of a11 is greater than absolute value of any absolute value of all these elements in that row. Okay, same way a22 must be bigger, absolute value should be bigger than any other element of that row, and the absolute value of a33 must be bigger than any other element of that row, and absolute value of a44 must be bigger than, greater than any other element of that row. In such a case, we say that the given system is diagonally dominant. So first thing is, you must check for all the iterative methods whether the given matrix is diagonally dominant or not, or whether the given system of equations is diagonally dominant or not. For that, what you have to do is, you write the given system of equations in the matrix form like this. Ax is equal to b, where A is the coefficient matrix and this capital X matrix is the solution matrix, which is a column matrix, and right side it is a column matrix again, which is a constant matrix. So to solve this system of linear equations by iterative methods, you must check first whether the system is diagonally dominant. Okay, that you must do without fail, girls. And now you have to ask me, if the given system is not diagonally dominant, what can be done? Okay, so that's what I mentioned here, girls. Iterative methods are not applicable to all the system of equations, and to apply the iterative methods, you must see that that system is diagonally dominant or not. Means you have to see, actually, the largest coefficient should be there, and that has to be brought into the first row, first column, second row, second column, third row, third column, fourth row, fourth column. So the system is diagonally dominant if the coefficients of the diagonal elements are not all equal to 0 and large when compared to the other coefficients. Okay, large means, I said, absolute value, girls. Okay, don't take the negative signs into consideration. So after checking whether the given system is diagonally dominant, then you proceed further. Okay, let us now check a problem here, and you are going to see the method, that is Jacobi's method, the step-by-step process. And this method is also called as simultaneous displacement method. I will let you know why it is called as simultaneous displacement method once if I finish the explanation. So let us take a system of 3 equations and in 3 unknowns. Here the unknowns are x, y, z. Okay, and here the elements on the principal diagonal are a11, a22, a33. You please check whether this system is diagonally dominant or not under first step. Okay, means you have to see whether modulus of a11 is bigger than a12, a13. Modulus of a22 is bigger than a21, a23. Modulus of a33 is bigger than a31, a32. Okay. So now what you have to do is, you first write from the first equation x value. This is how you can write the value of x, next y value, then z value. Okay, and now what you do, the second step, how will you write? X is equal to, you bring all these terms to the right side and divide it by a11. And here y you have to write from the second constraint, and you bring every term to the right side and write y is equal to everything by A22. After writing this step, you already, I told you, know, any system you will have to start with the initial, any solution, iterative solution will start initial iteration. So let us take the initial iteration, the solution as x is equal to x bracket 0, y is equal to y bracket 0, z is equal to z bracket 0. Okay, so now here you have this as the initial solution. You are going to find out the next approximate solutions. Okay, so remember, iterative solutions means you will have to start with the initial iteration with the x0, x bracket, y bracket 0, z bracket 0, if it is not given. Sometimes they will ask you to take 0 0 0, otherwise you only can start with 0 0 0. Sometimes they may give you some values 1 2 3 also. So first find the first approximate value. What you have to do? You put this x bracket 0, y bracket 0, z bracket 0 in equation here x to get x bracket 1. Okay, that's what I did. What did I do here? In place of y, I put y0. In place of z, I put z bracket 0 to get x bracket 1. And to get y bracket 1, what did I do? I put in place of x, x bracket 0. In place of z, z bracket 0. Can you see, girls? Can you see the document?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, we are finding out the first approximate values of x, y, z, girls. So what do you have to do here is, in place of y, z, you put y bracket 0, z bracket 0 to get x bracket 1. In place of x and z here, you put x bracket 0, z bracket 0 to get y bracket 1. And from this last equation, you put for x, x bracket 0, y, y bracket 0 to get z bracket 1. So I told you already, sometimes they will give you initial iteration 0 0 0 or 1 2 3 or 1 1 1. You have to start with that and substitute here simultaneously. What we are doing, at a time you are substituting the values x bracket 0, y bracket 0, z bracket 0 to get x bracket 1, y bracket 1, z bracket 1. That is why this method is also known as simultaneous displacement method, girls. Okay, so start with initial approximate solution and find out the first approximate solution and denote it by x bracket 1, y bracket 1, z bracket 1. Now what is the next step? Now again you start with this solution x bracket 1, y bracket 1, z bracket 1, and again in this set of equations you replace y by y bracket 1, z by z bracket 1 to get x bracket 2, and then replace x by x bracket 1, z by z bracket 1 to get y bracket 2. Replace x by x bracket 1, y by y bracket 1 to get z bracket 2. So what you are doing is, you are going to get second approximate values x bracket 2, y bracket 2, z bracket 2 from the first approximate values. Okay, so what you are doing each time you are simultaneously substituting the approximate values to get the next approximate values. So again, what you have to do next time, to get x bracket 3, y bracket 3, z bracket 3, you substitute for x, x bracket 2, y bracket 2, z bracket 2 in this system of equations. Okay, so that you keep on finding out like this better approximate values. How long you have to proceed like this? Until you get two equal approximations in succession, girls. Means, suppose x bracket 4 is equal to x bracket 5, y bracket 4 is equal to y bracket 5, z bracket 4 is equal to z bracket 5, you can stop the iteration. Means after fourth iteration, you have all x, y, z are equal, so you can end up. Okay, to the desired accuracy means, sometimes in the question he will mention whether to check the equality up to 2 decimal places, 1 decimal place, 3 decimal place, so on. Okay, so you have to keep on finding out the approximate values until you get two equal approximations in succession up to the desired accuracy. And remember, x bracket, y bracket, z bracket must be equal with the consecutive, successive, iterative values. Now you just see that this method is extended to the system of n equations in unknowns, girls. Here I discussed with 3 equations, 3 unknowns, and you can extend to 3, 4 equations, 4 unknowns, etc. Suppose if the initial approximation is not given as I discussed, you can take initial approximation as 0, 0, 0. Means x bracket 0 is 0, y bracket 0 is 0, z bracket 0 is 0. And if the initial approximation is given, it can be used to start the iteration and find the first approximation. Sometimes he only will give you initial approximation as 0, 0, 0 or 1, 1 minus 1, etc. Okay. So now let us move
Ma'am,
on to
document కనిపించట్లేదు మ్యామ్.
the Enanna document you cannot
డాక్యుమెంట్
see.
కనిపించట్లేదు మ్యామ్ ఏమి. ఎస్
Okay.
మ్యామ్.
How since how long?
నౌ ఓన్లీ మ్యామ్.
Okay. Now I'm going to present once again. Can you see? Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now let me continue with the second one. Second one, if you have any difficulty, you please let me know. Otherwise, blindly I'll be going like this. Now, can you see the document, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now let us move to the second method. This is Gauss-Seidel method. We can also call it as method of successive displacements. Okay. Now what we did in this Jacobi's method, it is an iterative method, and we start with an initial approximation and we found out the successive approximations. Okay. The same way Gauss-Seidel method also, we start with the initial approximation and we find out the successive approximation. But this is a better method than the Jacobi's method because you get less error. Okay, and what we are doing here is instead of doing this successive like simultaneous replacement, you'll be doing successive replacements. Okay, and the rate of convergence in this case is very fast. Convergence means here after 3-4 iterations only you will be able to get the required desired accuracy in succession. Okay, so let us move on to this method, and if at all we have time, I'll compare both the methods once again. But already these problems we have done enough in the class and enough revision is also given. Now see again, let us consider again 3 equations in 3 unknowns, girls. Okay, here the equations are 1, 2, 3 and the unknowns are x, y, z. So what you have to do, any iteration method, girls, please be very, very careful. You have to check whether the given system of equations is diagonally dominant. I told you, no, this is very much important. Now, if it is not diagonally dominant, what you have to do, no, you have to interchange the equations, girls. Okay, so that's what I explained to you. Here, A11 is bigger than A12, A13. You keep it as it is. For example, A12 is bigger than A11, A13. No, you bring this down to second place and you take this to the first place, so that A12, which is in the second place, that is the diagonal element, it will be dominant. Okay, so like that, what you have to do is usually you'll be given equations which are diagonally dominant only. Means A11 should be bigger than the other 2 coefficients in the first equation. A22 must be bigger than the other 2 coefficients in the second equation. A33 must be bigger than the other 2 coefficients in the third equation. Bigger in the sense that you ignore negative signs, girls, absolute value. For example, here A21 is bigger than A22, A23. No, so A21 being in the first place, you move this to the first equation and bring the first equation to second equation, so that here the element, whichever element you have, that would be the greater one. That is how. See, if the given system is not diagonally dominant, you interchange the equations so that the system becomes diagonally dominant. Please make sure that before proceeding the next step, whether the given system is diagonally dominant. Once you, after checking that, you now move to the second step. As I explained to you, it is similar to the previous method only. Where the difference lies, you will come to now know. See here A11x is this much, no, girls? So from which you can bring these 2 terms to the right side and divide with A11, so that you will get x is equal to this much. And then from the second equation, you keep this on the left hand side, bring these two terms to the right side, and then divide with a22, you will get y as this much. And from the third equation, girls, you keep this term on the left hand side, take these two terms to the right hand side, girls, and you will get a z. From this, you take these two right side and you keep this term on the left hand side, and dividing with a33, you get z value. So you know this, girls, already we did this problem in the class and enough problems were worked out afterwards. Now from the first equation you write what is x, from the second equation you write what is y, from the third equation you write what is that, right? And now you have three equations now. I told you after the first step, that is whether after checking whether the given system is diagonally dominant, you write from the first equation x value, second equation y value, third equation z value, you get x, y, z values. Now, I told you any iteration method starts with the initial approximation. If he gives you the initial approximation like x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1, z is equal to 0, you can take and proceed. If he doesn't give you initial approximation values, you take x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, z is equal to 0. So I'm writing the first approximation denoting by x bracket 0. I mean initial approximation is denoted by x bracket 0, y bracket 0, z bracket 0. Okay. So now you have initial approximations x bracket 0, y bracket 0, z bracket 0. So with these, what you have to do is please be very careful. If it is Jacobi method, all these values are simultaneously substituted in all these equations to get x, y, z at a time. But now in this method, this Gauss-Seidel method, you cannot substitute all at a time. This is successive approximations and successive displacements. So what you have to do is, see in the first equation to find x, you have y and z. So you replace y with y0, z with z0. Okay, so that you will get x bracket 1. X bracket 1 you will be finding out. Okay, and see what did I write here? Find the first approximate values of x, y, z by substituting y is equal to y bracket 0, z is equal to z bracket 0 in the equation 1. Then what will you get? You get x bracket 1. And already you have y bracket 0, z bracket 0. So to get y bracket 1, what you have to do? The latest one is x bracket 1. No, that x bracket 1 has to be substituted here. And then whatever is there for z bracket 0 has to be substituted. Not x bracket 0 here, girls. In place of Jacobi, we put here y bracket 0, z bracket 0, x bracket 0, z bracket 0, x bracket 0, y bracket 0. Now this is not the case. Here, whatever you have your latest y bracket 0, z bracket 0 to get x bracket 1. Now, the latest value for x is x bracket 1. To find out y, what you have to do is, you find out x. You substitute here in place of x, x bracket 1. In place of z, z bracket 0. And to get z, what you have to do? You have x, x bracket 1. And for y, you have y bracket 1. So you have to substitute for x, x bracket 1. For y, y bracket 1. In the third equation to get z bracket 1. That is why this method is also known as successive displacement method. Okay, one after the other you are substituting here, whichever is the latest approximation. Unlike in case of Jacobi. Jacobi means at a time you are substituting in the very first, from the zero iteration, initial iteration, you are getting first iteration means for everywhere you are substituting 0, 0, 0, initial approximation only. Now in case of Gauss-Seidel, remember repeating number of times. To get x bracket 1, you substitute for y, y bracket 0, z, z bracket 0. To get y bracket 1, substitute for x, x bracket 1, z, z bracket 0. And to get z, you substitute x, x bracket 1. And just now you arrived with y bracket 1. That you have to substitute for y. So here you are doing successively, not simultaneously. So after getting x bracket 1, y bracket 1, z, see how I substituted here? To get x bracket 1, I replaced y and z with z initial approximations. Whereas to get y bracket 1, what did I do here? Latest one I substituted for x, x bracket 1. And whatever we have for z, that only I substitute z bracket 0. Now to get z bracket 1, the first approximate value of z, what did I do here? I substituted for x, the latest one, x bracket 1. For y also, I substituted the latest one, y bracket 1. So this is the next step. Now what you have to do? You got now the first approximate values. To get the next approximate values, what you have to do, girls? You have to now again replace here. What is the latest approximate value for x? It is x bracket 1. So for y bracket 1. For z bracket 1. So to get x bracket 2, you replace y with y bracket 1, z with z bracket 1. So that you got x bracket 2. Now to get y, you have to replace x by x bracket 2 and z by z bracket 1. And to get z, you have to replace x by x bracket 2, and just now you got y bracket 2, you replace y by y bracket 2. That's what I explained to you here, girls. See, to get x bracket 2, the latest ones, y bracket 1, z bracket 1. And as you got x bracket 2, to get y bracket 2, you replace here for x bracket 2 and z bracket 1. To get z bracket 2, the second approximate value for z, you replace x by x bracket 2, y by y bracket 2. This is the difference between the Jacobi method and Gauss-Seidel method. All the other steps are the same. Okay. First step is you check whether the given system is diagonally dominant. If it is not diagonally dominant, you just interchange the rows, girls. A11 must be bigger. A22 must be bigger. A33 must be bigger. Means the diagonal elements must be bigger. So you arrange the equations such a way that the A11, A22, A33 are bigger. And after that, you start with the initial iteration and proceed. So from initial iteration 0, 0, 0 or x bracket 0, y bracket 0, z bracket 0, you are getting x bracket 1, y bracket 1, z bracket 1. And from initial first approximate solution, you are getting second approximations. Proceed like this until you get to 2 equal approximations in succession. Okay. So sometimes he will say up to 2 decimal places, up to 1 decimal place. So you have to exactly see that after rounding up whether the successive approximations are equal up to the desired accuracy. So after getting the values, no, suppose x bracket 3 is equal to x bracket 4, y bracket 3 is equal to y bracket 4, z bracket 3 is equal to z bracket 4. You can say that that would be the final value of x, y, and z. Okay, this is how you will be solving the system of linear equations, okay, by iterative methods, girls. And remember, these iterative methods will be only giving you approximate solutions. That's why we don't call them as exact methods or direct methods. Okay, and see here we will see this method is extended to the system of n equations in unknowns and unknowns. Here I explained to you for the sake of convenience, taking only 3 equations in 3 unknowns. Here the unknowns are x, y, z, but you can get a problem of 4 equations, 4 unknowns also, not beyond that. And of course 2 equations in 2 unknowns. And here the initial approximation is not given, means you can take initial approximation as means x bracket 0 as 0, y bracket 0 as 0, z bracket 0 as 0. Sometimes he only will give you initial approximation, and in that case x bracket 0 will be known, y bracket 0 will be known, z bracket 0 will be known to you. You have to find out the next approximate values, x bracket 1, y bracket 1, z bracket 1, so on. Okay, and girls, actually here these 2 methods can be also asked for short answers. In such case, no, how the question would be, I already discussed with you in the class. See, sometimes no, you need not proceed till you get 2 equal approximations in succession. If it is a short answer question, he will say find out the second iterative values of the given system of equations. Or sometimes he will ask you to find out the solution of this system after second iteration, the solution of the system after first iteration, the solution of the following system after third iteration. Okay, so that way if you are asked, you need not worry whether the 2 successive iterative values are equal to the desired accuracy or not. Okay, you can end up after second iteration, means you have to find out x bracket 2, y bracket 2, z bracket 2. After third iteration means you can stop this procedure after getting x bracket 3, y bracket 3, z bracket 3. I think it is clear to you girls. And today I'm going to give you homework. Yesterday I gave you homework for the direct problems on direct methods. I gave you to do 4 different problems, one problem for each model. Today I'm going to give you like homework. Only 2 problems you have to do, girls. Take any 2 problems of your choice. Do it by Jacobi's method and Gauss Seidel method and submit it. See, even if you are submitting late also, please see that you submit the required assignments without fail. See, government may take any decision, even our college management also take any decision. So please see that you submit the documents, solutions on time, or even if you are late also see that all assignments are submitted. This is for your benefit only, girls, so that you will have enough practice, your doubts will be clarified, and assignments are submitted means maybe in future there will be some benefit to you. And one more thing is, see that as many as you can attend the classes. I'm sharing the video again in the Google class. You go through the video, watch the video. Any doubts you can share in the Google class. Your questions can be shared in the Google class. I'll reply to you. You can also discuss in our WhatsApp group. Also you can phone to me. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am,
Now
ma'am,
if you have any doubts you can ask.
ma'am, it is difficult to join in the class, ma'am. It is
Why, Nana? Why?
asking to join, ma'am.
uh,
We and we have to get the permission from you, no, ma'am, to join the class.
yes.
It's getting